and the Domestic Violence Act. I was on that committee at the time. A lot of work was put in. Numerous representations were made by stakeholders who are interested in the issues of violence against women and children in particular, and other vulnerable groups, such as persons with disabilities. That report was produced and recommended a large panoply of amendments to those statutes. Nothing seems to have been done to take those matters further in terms of actually legislating those changes. And this is years now I'm talking about. But in particular in relation to the Domestic Violence Act, which directly relates to the matter at hand today, that committee felt quite strongly that the Domestic Violence Act was insufficient as a legislative framework to address the cultural and sociological, economic, emotional issues that surround gender-based violence and domestic violence in particular, and that it needed to be looked at more deeply, not just from the point of view of criminal offences and so on, but the whole issue around how victims of such violence can be supported and can be given redress through a system that is sensitive to their needs and the realities in which they live, including often where there's some financial dependence on the violence perpetrator. And Madam Speaker, my question is, when will we see that in-depth review of the Domestic Violence Act take place? I would hope that it would be through a process which would include the public and stakeholders who have an interest in this issue, including members of the opposition, and also the other much-needed raft of reforms that were agreed in that Joint Select Committee process, but which have seemed to be lying dormant and fallow. I'm anxious to hear the response to that.